What is up, ghosties? Welcome back to Chelsea's Spooky Coffee House. We're your hosts. My name's Chelsea.
And I'm Veronica.
On today's episode, we will be discussing our haunted location, the Obvodny Canal, and serial killer of the week, John Wayne Glover, as well as a tarot card reading for one of our listeners at the end of the podcast. So, Veronica.
What?
How you... How you been? What are you drinking?
I am drinking an ice blended mocha from Coffee Bean. I'm hooked. I'm addicted, as you guys might have heard last episode.
Yeah, I was gonna
I'm
say,
okay.
isn't that what you were drinking before?
Yeah, but I'm okay. What about you? What are you doing?
Well, I'm drinking the same thing as last episode too, which is my butter pecan creamer coffee, and I'm starting to feel it. This is like my third cup right now, and I'm starting to feel it. I'm getting twitchy.
Oh.
I'm tweaking. I'm getting a coffee high, and you're just high.
No, I'm not. I'm so sober right now.
Yeah, okay. You let me know when that edible kicks in.
What edible? Silly goose.
Yeah, but I've been going through a lot, which you know, so I'm just glad to be back to working and doing this show with you.
Yes.
All right, so I have some questions for you.
Okay, I'm ready.
If you were to be banned from your local library, what would be the reason?
Probably laughing too loud. Like if I'm with someone and we're being silly, like just being loud, laughing. Because sometimes I do have that like one laugh where it's like erupts out of nowhere, you know, and it's loud or I can't control it. Or even my silent laugh isn't really that silent. So yeah, laughing. What about you?
I'm not 100% sure what my reason would be. I'm sure it'll come to me, but I wanted to tell you a story. Like, there was a reason for me asking you this question.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking to one of my friends the other day, and we were drinking, all of us were, and they started telling me about a time where they got chased by the library police.
Library police?
Yeah, here in Fort Wayne, we have library police.
What y'all be doing out there?
We be doing some shit. But so the point is that I was laughing my ass off because I can picture this motherfucker running through a library and being chased by library police. And library police are basically just like security guards. I'm
Like
not
mall
sure why.
cops?
Yeah, and I'm not sure why we call them police because I don't really think they are. I think they're just like mall cop. But anyway, so they were telling me this story, and I was like, I was trying to think about it, and I was like, that's a good question to ask Veronica.
Not really. I don't think I'd have an interesting answer. Mine was just laughing. You. It was scary asking you that question back, but
Oh, I didn't tell you what he was running from the police from.
oh,
He beat up a guy in Rhode Isles.
you guys are weird.
Yeah, we're weird out here, huh?
In a
I think I would
library.
get. Yeah, library. I was laughing my ass off. Um, the only thing that I could think of, which is gonna sound really bad, but it really isn't. It would just be like reading the books that I read in the library because you know the types of books that I read.
Yeah.
That's like the
But
only
wouldn't
thing I
you
can
want to
think of.
read those books at home in bed, maybe?
Are you asking me if I pleasure myself while I'm reading my books?
No! Oh my God, moving on. Oh my God. No. This is not that kind of podcast. No, 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 no. If I ever do a podcast talking about shit like that, first of all, I'm gonna have a nickname. No one will know it's me. But I will fucking be honest, dude.
But to answer your question, no, I can read smut anywhere that I go, and you'll never know that I'm reading it because I can keep a straight face.
You have a fucking resting reading bitch face, man. I've seen
Yeah,
you read. Like, ugh, I don't like it. I want to slap you
yeah.
sometimes.
Instead of RBF, I have RRBF.
Yeah, RBF. So funny.
So, my next question for you, what do you think is the worst thing that a person can put in their bio on a dating app?
Oh, must
What
no,
what
I
would be
can't
like
say that.
a what? You can't say what?
I don't know, dude. That's a good question. What's your answer? What's your answer? Let me feed off.
I want to know what you just cut yourself off from saying.
Honestly, I forgot.
Oh my God. You know, half the time I think that you don't fucking forget, you just don't want to admit what you were going to say.
No, so you know what happens? I'm
You're
like, all
too
right.
high, so it just
No,
goes through.
I'm gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna tell her that I forgot. And as I'm thinking about telling you that I forgot, I actually end up forgetting, and that's what happened right now. So yeah. So
Oh
what's your
my gosh.
answer?
Anything that's like, oh, how do I say it?
Come on, brain, think of things.
Yeah, I know. Like I just had it in my fucking head. Thank God that this isn't the live recording that we just did.
That was
Um,
exciting.
whenever someone like, I don't know, like I guess like arrogant, like I don't know, whenever they say something that's just like super fucking arrogant,
Yeah.
like that's just like a no. That's a no for me.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. I think there's a lot of stupid shit that people could say or put in their bios, and I'm sure I've like come across a few, but I can't think of anything right now.
Yeah. One of the things that I do like when people like what they include would be that they're 420 friendly because a bitch has to know.
Yeah, but that's like one of my first questions too. If they don't specify, like, do you smoke weed? No. Okay.
Yeah. Like
Is
it's
that is
okay if
that
they
a
it's okay if they don't as long as they're okay with you doing it.
yeah, I was about to say, like, is that I don't know what the fuck I'm trying to say right now. Is that
Yeah, I know.
a
I'm a red flag.
not well, no, it's a different word. But anyways, I have some questions for you if you don't mind.
Okay.
All right, what has made you cut off a friendship before?
um so there's something in particular.
Hmm.
I had a friend who I was very, very close with, and there was a group of us, and there was four of us total. And one of them was in a, we'll just say, toxic relationship, and she didn't like that we were calling her out for it. And so
Hmm.
we lost her as a friend. So then it was just three of us. And out of the three of us, one of us was getting married. No, it was not me, it was the friend. And she was like, you guys can pick your own your own bridesmaids dresses. They just have to be in brown. It was like, we were like, okay, like we'll find something. And brown is very hard to find for bridesmaids dresses for plus size women.
Hmm.
And so the two of us are trying to find these brown dresses that are going to look cute or whatever. And we finally find something. We have fittings scheduled. And then the bride turns around and was like, oh no, I changed my mind. Like, you guys need to wear these. And I shit you not, dude, the fucking dress that she wanted us to wear was like burlap sacks.
Huh.
I totally understand that it's her wedding and stuff,
Yeah.
but it was an outdoor wedding, and
Hmm.
these dresses were super short and like baggy on the bottom, and if like a gust of wind came, our fucking vajayjays were going to be out in the open. And we were like, listen, like we already scheduled the fitting, like we've already put in the deposits and everything for these dresses. And she's like, yeah, well, you took too long, so I want you to wear these. And we're like, sorry, like we're not going to wear those because that's not, it's not wedding appropriate for our sizes. Like, because we're the sizes that we are, is it's not going to work. And she threw the biggest fucking fit. And we're like, look, we understand it's your wedding, but you also have to accommodate for our body types. Like, we don't have the same ones. And it just, like, no matter what we said, it was just we were the assholes, and she wasn't. And so she's like, well, then you guys don't have to come to my wedding. And we're like, if that's how you want to be, that's fine, that's okay. And this was like building up because they wanted to have a joint bachelor and bachelorette party, and it was going to be at Dave and Buster's, and they wanted us to buy like the really expensive all you can drink, all you can eat, all day passes. And we're like, we don't have the money for that. Like, that's super, like, dude, the amount of money that cost at Dave and Buster's was ridiculous. And especially considering that they were only planning on being there for like 4 hours, we're like, we're not going to pay that money for 4 hours. And they were like, well, then you guys don't have to come. And we're like, well, why can't we just buy the $30 package, which is the same thing, and we can still play? And they were like, no, it has to be this or you're not going. Okay, I guess we're not going. Fucking even the best man wasn't invited to the wedding by the time we were all done and like everything was said and done. And haven't talked to her since.
Wow. That was the story, man.
Yep, Bridezilla ruined the friendship. And
All right.
I cut it off. I was done. What about you?
None that I'm willing to talk about. Next question. Who would you want to
Wait,
be stranded with on a deserted island?
you're a bitch for skipping that question, just gonna say.
Cool. Thank you. Love you.
Who would I want to be stranded with on a deserted island? Do they have to be real or can it be fictional?
They could be fictional.
I would pick one of my book characters. Just because, like, being stuck on a deserted island with a badass mafia dude, you're gonna have some fun in the sun before you get rescued, because you know they're gonna get rescued.
You don't know that.
You know they're gonna get rescued. They're fucking mafia men. Like, somebody's gonna come for them.
All right, Chelsea. So do you want to go ahead and lead us into the first segment, haunted location?
You didn't answer the question.
What question?
Who would you want to be stranded on a deserted island with?
Are you kidding me? You really want to ask me that?
No, I really don't. We already know it's Pedro Pascal.
Exactly. Segment number 1, please.
So segment 1 is going to be on the Obvodny Canal. And yeah, Veronica and I are going to be giggling the entire time that we're saying that because it's Russian and I don't speak Russian. And how long did I spend trying to pronounce this damn name?
Dude, I don't know. After 5 minutes, I was just on TikTok.
So, anyways, the canal is located in St. Petersburg, Russia. It's about 5 miles long, and it is the longest canal in the city. It was dug and built during the years between 1769 to 1780, and then later in 1805 to 1833. So they kind of like took a break in between. Kind of a little bit of background on St. Petersburg, if you're not familiar. It was built to be the capital of Russia, then later it was stripped out of that title, and it was one of the cities that suffered the most during World War II. It's also believed that the city suffers from an ancient curse, hence why so many terrible things have happened. And sitting in a city like this, it's no wonder that this canal has a bad reputation surrounding it. So, from the beginning of construction, the canal had a lot of strange things happen. Workers often complained of headaches and strange health problems, and the workers would often break out into violence between each other with seemingly no reason, but it was a common occurrence. So it was kind of like weird, but they forced them to keep working. And the canal is located in what was previously the bad part of town where the poorest of the poor lived, but now it's located close to the downtown area that is a tourist hotspot. Many of the locals refuse to let their children play near it and or even like look at it at night. And even the ones who are not superstitious avoid the canal because of the bad things that have happened around it. So during the 1920s, workers were building a road by the canal and discovered granite plates that might have been tombs. The local archaeologists were not allowed to inspect them because it would slow down construction, so they did the best that they could and quickly sketched the plates before the construction workers destroyed them. It was only 3 years later in 1923 when a random high number of suicides took place at the Brovosky Bridge, and much like Californians here, the locals know it as Suicide Bridge. Infants were thrown into the water from this bridge into the canal, and many jumpers tried to drown themselves. The ones who were rescued and survived cannot recall why they jumped in the first place, and
Ew.
say that an invisible force pushed them in.
I don't like that.
Yeah, within a decade, nearly 100 people jumped into the canal from that bridge.
Wow.
So both the bridge, known as the Suicide Bridge, and the canal, known as Suicide Canal, are eerily similar in that aspect where some strange things are happening.
Yeah.
Now, going back to the tombs, or the supposed tombs, the granite plates. In the 13th century, a group of Swedish knights massacred a tribe of women who were native to the region where the canal is now built. Supposedly, the shaman of the tribe cursed the knights before she was killed. Where the canal is built is the area that the knights buried the women, and many believe that the granite plates they found while building the road next to it is where the women had been buried, and the plates were their tombstones. Not only did they curse these nights, but workers just like decimated their resting place. This is when the rise in suicides began occurring. So a lot of people believe that that had something to do with this random outburst of suicides.
Yeah, pissed off some spirits.
Yeah. Now, there are many spirits that are seen around the canal. Some have claimed to see a woman in the canal under the water, and many of them say that she beckons them to join her. That is one theory that they have about why people jump in, is that she's beckoning to them and they're like entranced. Others say that they feel an invisible presence. Even those who have not jumped claim to feel it around the canal. There are also those who believe the spirits of the dead from the dark history are the ones who live in the murky waters, those who died from World War II and during the sieges in earlier history when rulers fell and others replaced them. Here's the thing that really caught my attention, though. Many claim to see a pale woman in a white dress. Does that sound familiar to you?
It's always a pale woman in a white dress.
Yeah,
Yeah, the lady in white.
it makes me wonder if the woman in white legend has more to it than we know today, because she's seen all over the world with all types of people, ways of living, different languages spoken, and yet every country, I think, has some type of woman in white legend, and it's just really interesting.
Yeah.
Now, I really couldn't find anything about the Obvodny Canal in the media because, I like to always look in the media. The
Mm-hmm.
only thing that I could find is a 1990 Russian movie called Obvodny Canal, and that's pretty much all that I've found on it, which isn't really surprising because Russians are very, what's the word I'm looking for? Private.
Russian.
They're very private. Yeah, they're very Russian.
So would you go there knowing like the history and like what people claim to feel and see? Like would you ever walk on the bridge?
I think I would, but I would definitely have like someone not on the bridge or like even near the canal to just keep an eye on me. And if I start like looking funny or something, like honestly, I wouldn't risk anybody just because like, you never know. And, Russians are not they're not easily scared. And so the fact that a lot of the locals are like, hell no, that makes me worried, but I would definitely want to check it out. So I'd have someone like wrap a rope around me. And if I start trying to jump off, try to jump off the bridge, just drag my ass back.
Nah, dude, you're doing too much. I'll fucking camp on there, dude. Like, all right, what's up? What's going on? What are we doing?
You can go camp on there. I'll just drag your ass back if you try to jump off the bridge.
Sure.
Anyways, that's it for my segment this week. Do you want to jump into the serial killer of the week?
I do. So, Ghosty serial killer of the week is John Wayne Glover. We're going to go over some history. John Wayne Glover was born on November 26, 1932. He was an English Australian serial killer who was convicted of murdering 6 elderly women who were between the ages of 60 and 93. These killings took place within a period of 14 months from 1989 to 1990. He would be nicknamed the Granny Killer. So, I want to ask you a question, Chelsea.
Oh God.
But please let me finish my question because I'm trying to help you out, okay? What what kind of nickname do you think the public would give you? Now, let's not specify what kind of serial killer you are or how you would kill people. None of that. You yourself know, right? You know what you would do. Don't have to say it out loud. Just think about it to yourself. Now, if the public knew what you're thinking, what nickname do you think they'd come up with for you?
I'm thinking, hold on.
Come on, brain, think of things. Come on, brain, think of things.
I'm trying to like relate it to what I know I would do.
I'm excited to hear your answer because I want to see like if I
If you
could
can guess.
guess. Yeah.
So I'm thinking something like the Scarlet Killer.
The Scarlet Killer?
Mm-hmm.
That sounds badass, but it's no fun. Not saying that like the Granny Killer is fun, but like you know what I mean?
Why isn't my name fun?
Well, I don't know. Like I don't like I don't know.
Because you can't guess what I would do? Is that the reason? Are you being
Well,
biased right now?
you've technically already told everyone what you would do in past episodes
What am I thinking of right now?
of the things that you said
Yeah.
that you well, you for sure your weapon of choice was what? A knife, a butcher knife, or a what?
Yeah, a chef's knife.
There you go. Nice and shiny because you like the
Mm-hmm. Nice and
way
sharp.
it cuts through the skin
Skin.
smoothly. Um I really want to move. I don't know why I asked you this question. Um Moving on.
Sure. What would your name be first?
Oh shit. Probably like Smokey or something. She always killed when she
Smokey.
was high.
If you ever become a serial killer, I'll make sure to get the media to catch on to that name.
Thank you so much, dude. Don't let them give me any stupid ass names, okay?
I got you.
So before
Moving
becoming a
on.
yes, moving on. Before becoming a serial killer, Glover was convicted of multiple petty crimes dating back to 1947 for stealing things such as clothing and handbags. Later, he emigrated to Australia in 1956 or 1957, where he first lived in Melbourne. Melbourne? Melbourne. Mel.
Mm,
How would you say it?
Melbourne,
Okay, cool. It's like Illinois or Illinois, you know?
Illinois. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Shortly after emigrating from England to Australia, Glover was convicted on 2 counts of larceny in Victoria and a stealing charge in New South Wales. In 1962, he was convicted on 2 counts of assaulting women in Melbourne. Melbourne. 2 counts of
Melbourne.
in Melbourne.
Melbourne sounds. Yeah, Melbourne sounds right. Actually.
Melbourne. 2 counts of indecent assault, one of assault occasioning actual bodily harm, and another 4 counts of larceny. Glover had a troubled relationship with his mother, who was known to have several husbands and boyfriends. I low-key wonder if this had any influence on Glover, seeing as he was a granny killer, you know?
Yeah, probably.
Anytime I'm doing research on my serial killers, the first thing I like think about is like how they grew up, you know, who influenced them, like who were their biggest influences growing up. I don't know. Anyways. Now, John Wayne Glover was married and did have 2 daughters, but Glover and his wife separated and his wife took their 2 daughters to New Zealand. So, moving on to the murders. The thing I find interesting is that Glover was married for 20 years with children, and his wife never knew about Glover's past offenses or that she was married to a serial killer. And this really trips me out because I know we laugh about the idea of being in like a serial killer's shoes and whatnot, but like, what if we actually do know someone who is a serial killer or will one day become one?
Well, there's that statistic that says that you
Yeah.
walk by like how many serial killers in your lifetime.
Yeah, but like, what are the statistics of knowing someone that is a serial killer already or may be one day?
I don't know. Why don't you answer that question?
Anyways, Oscar to your attitude, man.
No,
Before I
I
can
was saying that I was gonna be the serial killer, but I think that went over your head.
I don't think it's possible for 2 serial killers to be talking to each other right now. That's not
We're gonna beat the
possible.
odds. Challenge accepted. Accepted? What the fuck was that?
What accent was that, bro?
I don't know.
Damn.
I don't know, and I don't even know how I knew it. Yeah. Anyways, challenge accepted.
Oh god, okay. So before I continue, I'd like to also mention that John Wayne Glover admitted that he didn't know why he was killing and that after each murder he would simply go back to living his normal life. He obviously did such a great job at that because his wife never noticed anything weird.
Okay, so
Um
I'm gonna have to take some notes from him. Is he still alive?
no.
Oh. Not me
Okay.
being disappointed that I can't take notes from a serial killer.
It's okay, you're fine. On March 1st, 1989, as Glover left the Mossman RSL in Military Road, this is one of his first murders. He saw 82-year-old Gwendolyn Mitchell Hill walking down the street. Glover returned to his car and put a hammer under his belt. He followed Mitchell Hill to the entry foyer of her Military Road apartment building. As she went to open the front door, he hit her with the hammer on the back of her head. He then continued to strike her about the head and body. Several of her ribs were broken. Glover had fled the scene, taking her purse containing $100. Mitchell Hill was still alive when she was found by two schoolboys, but died shortly after the police and ambulance arrived. The police had no eyewitnesses or leads and nothing concrete linked to this attack. No forensic evidence was available either. As well-intentioned neighbors, believing she had merely fallen, had watched the crime scene. The police assumed that it was another mugging gone wrong. Stupid ass fucking neighbors, man. Like, mind your business. Mind your
Right.
business. So his arrest. He would be arrested in 1990 and would confess to the killings, which led him to be sentenced to consecutive terms of life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. Glover hanged himself in prison on September 9th, 2005. This last part that I'm going to talk about is really interesting for me. So I hope you guys find it interesting. A psychiatrist said Glover had built up hostility and aggression since his childhood against his mother and then against his mother-in-law, who was said to trigger him. When she died, he had to take out his aggression on someone else. The psychiatrist who studied the case also added that this was a very unusual case because very few serial killers exist, and most of them are mentally ill and or have an organic disease of the brain. Glover was sane at the time of the murders, but a psychiatrist at trial, John Shan, said Glover had severe personality disorder. Do you think someone without any medical wrong with them, like just a normal, healthy, not normal, but like a healthy person could be a serial killer?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean,
You're
aren't we both sane and normal?
no, girl, I ain't sane. You're
Okay.
not sane at all or normal, close to normal. I don't know why the fuck you even, I don't know why I'm bothering
What
with this
is
fucking
normal?
question.
What is normal?
Not us, sweetie. Not us. We will never be normal. And you know what? That's okay. Who wants to be, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's my
Yeah.
serial
Fuck the
killer,
system.
John Wayne Glover. If you guys are interested in knowing more about the killer, look him up. There's more stories about his other killings. They're very brutal. And his court hearing was pretty interesting as well. So go check that out. Chelsea, would you like to do the tarot reading?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So, our tarot card reading this week is for one of our listeners, Kira. She's messaged us or commented on one of our posts on TikTok. Her is at Kira222_5. And she just wanted us to do any reading that we felt drawn to for her. And Veronica felt really drawn to some type of ancestor spread. So we found an ancestral connection spread. Now, this is a 4-card spread, and card 1 is a message from your ancestors. Card 2 represents a person, memory, or past event to guide you. Card 3 is an action you can take to commemorate your ancestors. And card 4 is an action that you can take to follow their guidance in this matter. Now, the matter at hand is not something that we know about because, like we said, this is a what we felt drawn to type of reading. So it was very interesting to try and interpret without an actual topic for us to revolve around. So card one, which is a message from your ancestors, comes through the card the Sun reversed. And what they have to tell you is that you can overcome obstacles in your life if you put your mind to it. You're struggling to see the bright side right now, but your inner child is being called out to play. So you need to let yourself go and feel that freedom that children do to get yourself through whatever it is that's holding you back.
Hmm. I'm wondering if there's like a long lost dream that was probably like put aside for whatever
Maybe.
reason.
Maybe whatever she wanted to be when she was younger.
Mm-hmm.
So the next card, which is a person, memory, or past event to guide you, is explained through the card, the Two of Cups reversed. And it's talking about a time when you felt an imbalance in your relationship. Whether this relationship is romantic, platonic, or family related is something only you can interpret. But this memory is going to guide you because it was a time where you focused on yourself and you learned to love and accept yourself. It's time to do this again, and calling up this memory will help remind you that you're going to get through this current issue. The third card is the world. It is right side up, and it represents an action that you need to take to commemorate your ancestors, and that is to finally accomplish a goal that you have been putting off. They are telling you that you are in the right time and place now, and it's time to finish what you started so you can feel whole. So, whatever it is that you haven't done yet is part of the reason why you don't feel complete, and fulfilling that goal is going to help you
Reached
fill
that.
in, yeah, fill in that gap. The last card is the Page of Swords, and it's an action that you can take to follow the guidance of your ancestor or ancestors, whoever it is that's speaking to you. And they are really pushing you to do something that you've been thinking about, because this card is saying that you have a lot of ideas that you need to put down and put into action. It also means you're young at heart, which plays into the reverse sun card because it's a representation of being young at heart and mind. I think these two cards are telling me and Veronica that whatever goal it is you have is something creative, and it's time that you start sharing this idea with others to get your message out. Do you get that same vibe, or do you get something else?
No, I get that vibe. And for some reason, I just feel super like excited, you know? Like I think this is something that this person may really want that for whatever reason had to be put aside
Hmm.
temporarily. And I can't imagine like getting back to something that would be so important as to like be able to fill a gap to make me feel help me feel like complete, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm feeling a lot of excitement and I'm looking forward to her and her journey.
Yeah. I'm hoping that we'll be able to hear the end of it.
Hmm.
So the big picture here that these cards are saying, Kira, is as a message from your ancestors, is that you need to really put your focus on this idea that you've been playing around with. It's going to be good for you and others, and will also commemorate your ancestors and build your relationship with them in the process.
I love it. Beautifully said.
Thank you.
Of course. Thank you so much, Kira, for allowing us to do a tarot reading for you. And thank you, Ghosties, for joining us this week. I had fun. I like this episode.
I do
It's
too. It's a very interesting one.
oh, for sure. I'm excited for next week's episode though, because I want to be talking about what am I gonna be talking about? What am I the Whaley House? I
You
almost
forgot.
said I almost said the Stanley Hotel. It's so random. I was not even thinking about it. Anyways,
Apparently
make
you
sure to
were somehow.
yeah. Make sure to give us a follow on our social media where we will be answering questions and sharing random stuff. If you want a free tarot card reading from us, feel free to DM us with your questions. Try to not do yes or no questions.
Yes,
That would help
please.
out a lot. But yeah, so we are your hosts. I am Veronica.
And I'm Chelsea.
Have a spooky weekend, guys. Bye.
Bye.